What is going on, everybody? We are back. We are here. You have me and Tiago with you. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm put the comments up here for a sec so I can see what y'all are saying. Listen, we just watched the first game we've seen in a while with our man Joel Embiid, with the Sixers going against the Timberwolves tonight. W. Sixers win 122-113. Like I said before, I got my man Tiago with me. I know it's been a while since we've been here, but we had that West Coast trip. You're busy. I'm busy. We don't make money doing this yet, but hopefully soon. Listen, we got Joel Embiid back tonight, man. We got Joel Embiid back. It's been a long 3 weeks with him being out. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like it's been 2 months and not just a little under a month. How are you doing, Tiago? What are you feeling about Joel Embiid being back today?
Yeah, man, we're back. Like Joel Embiid is back, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We took a little bit of a hiatus, nurturing our injuries, nurturing our wounds with Joel Embiid, and now we're back and better than ever here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's always great to have Joel back. It feels like things are back to normal. It feels like when things get a little bit out of hand, you can put him out there. He's going to get you a key bucket. He's going to get you a block. He's going to get the crowd all excited and hyped. It was vintage Joel tonight. I felt like he was on a minutes restriction, which is fine.
It did feel like that.
Yeah. They actually had him in the bench late in the fourth quarter until Doc realized they may need him to actually win the game. So, I mean, give him credit. I mean, look at we were talking about this, but you look at the box score, man, like plus 20, right? 24 points plus 20. I mean, that's typical Joel Embiid. Does it on both ends. Efficient on offense, just a big time, defensive monster. So it all starts there. And I want to give a shout out to Karl Anthony Towns because I was in the building last time they played the big Fracas with the huge fight. And I vividly remember seeing his mom in the stands. And for you guys who don't know, his mom passed away from COVID. So you can really tell this game meant a lot to Karl Anthony Towns because I think that connection in the crowd. And he brought it, man. Like Karl Anthony Towns played a phenomenal game, and he really manned up tonight. So give him credit, give him his prayers up to his family because it was special for him tonight, and you got to appreciate that in basketball sometimes.
Yeah, and Karl Anthony Towns playing 44 minutes, 39 points, 5 assists with 14 rebounds, shooting 11 for 23. So obviously a good statistical night for him. Yeah, I think it's tough for him because he just does not have the team around him. He really doesn't. Right. Like he hasn't since he's gotten in the league. So hopefully someone can build around him eventually, and they can work it out because he is a talented offensive player, man. But we can talk about our talented big man over with the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists in his return with 3 blocks. Now, I don't know about you, but when he was on the court today, I honestly, and obviously Embiid is always a very aggressive player, but I didn't know if I expected him to come back and kind of look how he did tonight, where the aggressiveness was not as much on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, if that makes sense. Like, it just seemed like he was everywhere defensively tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, especially late in the game, he had a couple huge blocks. One on Anthony Edwards coming downhill, and Edwards never saw him. He was standing right there and just swatted back at him. And one on Jaden McDaniels too, went off his leg. It was a vintage Embiid fourth quarter performance. I thought that he was trying to fill himself out early in the game, and I think at one point in the game he had like 9 points but only 1 field goal attempt, which tells you he's trying to fill himself out, like where to get in his spots in the court and so forth. And I thought in the second half, a lot of good play designs around shake and Embiid, pick and roll, pick and pop kind of stuff that really got him going, got him facing the basket. That mid-range jumper has been there like all year. I mean, that little pull-up he's got from mid-range is automatic, and I thought the Sixers got back to that in the second half. And then from then on out, man, it was his offensive game from then on out. I do think that he did get a little bit tired towards the end, understandably. And it showed up on his passing like he usually does. So he tends to go, get double team, throw that kind of lazy cross-court pass every now and then. And I usually attribute that to just being tired. And I think, we've talked about this in the past with Joel Embiid. He's a good passer. He understands where and how to get guys the ball. But sometimes the legs are just not there. So, that's going to come with time, I think. But overall, everything you wanted out of Embiid. It was a very good game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you can't beat having your MVP back. You really can't. You can't beat it. You can't.
The Sixers were surprisingly a very, very good team defensively without Embiid, which was something that was very impressive to watch. Offensive was a different story, and there are parts in games where they really struggled to generate scoring.
Yeah.
But defensively, they really stepped up to the challenge. And you got to give guys like Dwight credit on that. Obviously, the Matisse, Ben, the same, Tobias. But, the fact that they survived this long without Joel and played at an elite defensive level is a very big sign for the Sixers moving forward, because now you're getting one of the guys who's like a top 3-4 NBA defensive player. So, there's a lot to work there with that squad, and also George Hill, who can also play defense and slot in multiple parts of the offense. So I couldn't be more excited to get George Hill into this offense. I think he is going to open up so much, especially in those all bench units that Doc likes to put out there. Now, I know a lot of people say we don't like the all bench units, and obviously no one likes all bench units. Let's be real. Unless you have the Warriors bench from the years they were winning championships, no one likes all bench units. But I think George Hill, once he gets inserted into this lineup, that bench unit's going to run so smooth, in my opinion. I completely agree. So I think a big reason for that is getting George Hill on the ball and getting Shake a little bit off the ball.
Yeah.
For as explosive and Shake can look for long stretches, and he had a really good game again tonight. There are moments where he makes some horrific decisions on the ball, turnovers, bad reads, and I think getting George Hill to get on the ball and make those right decisions is gonna unlock a lot more offense for other guys. And I think Shake has shown over the last couple of games ability to shoot off the catch. So those two parameters are going to be very interested to see from that bench unit. And I also wrote about this, like George Hill is a guy who can close games out. He was second in crunch time points with Milwaukee last year. So the first was Giannis, the second was George Hill. And he played in crunch time with the Pacers, LeBron, Cavs. So he's a guy like the Sixers are probably going to look to close games out over Seth Curry, depending on the situation. So he's not just a bench guy who's going to come in and kind of do his thing. He has a really high potential with the squad going to the playoffs.
I definitely agree. He's one of those guys you can plug into any system, any team, and he's gonna give you what you need at that point guard spot. Now let's get into Tobias Harris, because Tobias Harris obviously had a great game tonight. 32 points on 13 of 7 shooting with 4 rebounds, 4 assists. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block and a steal, shooting 2 for 3 from behind the 3-point arc. Tobias Harris has just been on one.
Man,
all season really, and he has carried this team through the stretch without Embiid and still played up to what you want him to today with Embiid back in the lineup. So just talk about Tobias Harris, what you saw today, and just Toby.
Yeah, man. And it's both ends of the court. So I tweeted this during the game, because when you watch Tobias Harris, the first thing that comes to my mind is, holy hell, this guy makes a ton of tough shots. Like just tough shots after tough shots after tough shots. And the NBA has a stat that they track called tightly contested field goals. So they're able to track who makes tightly contested field goals. And I went back and looked, and there are only 4 guys in the NBA who shoot at a higher than 46% on tightly contested field goal attempts. And they are Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeMar DeRozan, and Tobias Harris right there. Perfect. So, I mean, that's like big time shot making, man. You cannot ask for anything more than that from your second scorer on the team. And these are the type of buckets you're going to need in the playoffs, because the playoffs, you guys know it. I mean, it's man to man, tough defense, fourth quarter, things tighten up. So there's a lot to be excited with Tobias, because he's been able to hit those consistent, tightly contested shots all year. That's been there all year. This is not just a small sample size. So that's the number one thing that stands out for me with Tobias. And the second thing is defensively, man. Like, he manned up today defensively. He was switching on Anthony Edwards. At one point, he took on Karl-Anthony Towns in the post and just kind of abused him. was like 15 seconds just wrestling with him in the post and caused a turnover. So again, a guy who can get you tough buckets, be a switchable alternative on defense. It doesn't get any more valuable than that. And Tobias's game, like you said, has been on point all year. It's continued to be on point. Let's hope it continues that way into the postseason, because I think the Sixers have a quality scorer there to work with in the postseason.
Yeah, definitely. He's just been just super, super impressive in general this whole season, and it's insane because coming onto the Sixers, everyone was excited because he on the Clippers was shooting this crazy percentages, like being a 20-plus point scorer, and everyone's like, oh, it's because he's playing on a bad Clippers team. He's playing on a team where he's getting most of the shots. He's not going to be able to make that happen with a Sixers team, with Joel, with Ben, with now you have all these shooters around him. But man, has he proved everyone wrong with that. Like it's and to me, the biggest thing that I notice on why he's capable of getting the buckets that he is, and why he's getting these tightly contested grown man buckets. And most of them are tightly contested. Like they're tightly contested, but Tobias is a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
Like he's like 6'7", 6'8", and the tightly contested shots are with people that are shorter than him typically, I should say. So they're tightly contested, like they're on him, but he's just rising up over him. And to me, the reason why he's so capable of getting those shots off is because of the spacing around him. In the past 2 years with him on this squad, he's been surrounded by Al Horford, Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid at the end of games. Now you get to see him surrounded by Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, and Joel Embiid. So you have three guys who are capable shooters who are shooting above 40% from behind the arc now around him, in comparison to everyone else shoot either a non-shooter and shooting under 40% basically. So to me, that is a huge difference. The amount of spacing you have around a guy who's really going to give it to you in the post and the mid-range. And that's what I see at Tobias doing all the time.
That's exactly, the spacing plays a huge role in that. And I also think that the Sixers playing him now at the 4. So last year he was playing to the 3. So those tightly contested shots, man, going up against guys like Jaylen Brown or whatever small forwards are out there. And these are tougher shots. They may not have the size, but they have the agility to stay in your body and lock in. And now Tobias is able to take more advantage of these tightly contested shots against guys who are not as agile. So, he has a little bit of quickness to get a little bit open and kind of take his little mid-range jump shot. So I think the positional change has something to do with it. Yeah. And I think the Sixers do a great job of just isolating him in space, setting those screens, isolating him on a smaller guy and have him go to work. So Doc has a great feel of how to unlock Tobias Harris, something that Brett Brown never really had with the Sixers. And that's been good. So, he is a load, man. Like, he is a matchup load. A guy who moves like that, who's that big, who's that skilled, it's a problem. It's a problem for teams to defend.
It's a problem. That pretty much sums it up. It's a problem. Tobias Harris is a problem offensively for sure. Do you want to get into Ben Simmons a little bit? I know Ben has been having a rough stretch lately. I mean, tonight, 14.6 assists, 8 rebounds, 5 for 9 shooting. So obviously an efficient night, which is what you really need from him. 2 steals, 4 for 6 from the free throw line. What are your thoughts on today's game? It seemed like a pretty normal like Ben Simmons game.
Yeah, I thought Ben was good defensively, especially helping out on the weak side. He made a couple really good plays defensively, just, off the pick and roll. He comes in and kind of surprises Karl-Anthony Towns on the backside and kind of pokes away the ball. Things like that, which are getting smart, hyper-aware defensive play. So that's typical Ben Simmons. I will say this, like, I have something I'm writing about with Ben, because we've all seen Ben at his worst this year. And we've all seen Ben at his best. I mean, Ben's stretch in February was unbelievable. I mean, he showed the entire NBA community the type of offensive player that can be. There's no questions about that. But he's not that player now. Yeah. The inconsistencies that we're seeing from Ben Simmons, people are going to point to lineup situations. I think there's something to do with it. The fact that he plays with Dwight Howard does not help. I don't think there's any debate to that. But the more closely you watch Ben Simmons, there's a lot he needs to work on, man. Like, a lot he needs to work on. He needs to get in the gym with a real NBA coach and refine his offensive game. Because when you start breaking it down, I'm going to write about this if you guys want to check it out. There is lack of vision to half court. There is inability to take guys off the dribble and show different change-up dribbles, so go left and go right. Those things lead to high level of inconsistency. So he needs to get in the gym with a coach, get in the film, and understand how to set up defenders, how to attack defenders, and that just you don't have to go one way down the rim every single time. Until he does that, it's gonna be up and down, man. Because yes, there are gonna be games where like he's gonna have the space, and he's the kind of player once he gets that little angle, it's over. Like he will just run right by you and dunk it, game over. But teams, you said, I mean, teams understand how to play him now. They understand how to close these angles, and he has not developed a consistent counter to that. So.
Yeah. And the biggest thing you notice with guys like him, guys like LeBron James, Magic Johnson, you watch tape on them, the biggest thing that you see is the change of pace, in my opinion. The pace changing and how to lull defenders asleep or to use their power and change pace. Like that's something that Ben, I think, is learning as it comes on. Danny Green even said this the other day that that's like one thing Ben needs to learn is how to use his speed, because instead of just going in 100 miles an hour, because he can. Like, but Ben is a strong, fast guy. He can blow by anybody. But how to use that speed and that strength to your advantage and getting people moving certain ways, and like you said, countering and just using your skill set. And I think eventually that'll come as it comes, realistically.
I mean, he's got to commit himself to that. I mean,
I think I'm not like a Ben Simmons apologist. I'm not, but he does work with a trainer. He works with Chris Johnson, the like famous NBA trainer guy. Works with a ton of extremely talented players. So he's working, and you can see it. But I do agree. I think he needs to get better in those ways, and I think we'll see that. And I hope he does commit to getting better in the ways he needs to. And I think you're definitely right in what you're saying with that. But I want to move on past Ben, because I don't want to make this too long. I want to make sure everyone's watching this video. Do you want to talk about the shooters a little bit? Let's combo Seth Curry and Danny Green. Both Seth Curry, 13 points, 5 assists, which is 5 assists damn near good for our starting shooting guard. 5 for 11 tonight with 2 for 5 from 3. Danny Green with 9 points and 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 50% from 3 with a block as well. So what are your thoughts on their games tonight?
I think Danny Green's playing fantastic basketball. I don't know what you think.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, he's been playing really, really well ever since they came back from the All-Star break. The shooting, he's one of those guys. He's so confident. I mean, he knows exactly what his role is with the team. He does not apologize. He lets it fly, and there are going to be days when it's not going to go in, and he doesn't care. And there are days like, he goes in all the time, and he's going to, be Danny Green. So just another really good Danny Green game. Defensively, it feels like his activity defensively is at all-time high in terms of those little like pokes, steals, deflections. He loves to come around kind of like Matisse does and kind of come reach from behind and poke the ball away.
So I have actually a good thought on this. I really do think Matisse is teaching teammates. I'm not kidding. Like, they talked about this early in the year that Furkan Korkmaz was going to Matisse and like asking him what he can do to get better on the defensive end of the court to help this team. And to me, like, I'm now seeing Shake Milton. Ben Simmons uses the same. I mean, Ben, don't get me wrong, Ben Simmons was stealing balls anyway, but you didn't see Ben wrap his arm around people as much as you do this season. Ben was more of a passing lane stealer than he is I'm going to wrap my hand around your body and slap it out like Matisse has done since he came in the league. Like, there's just certain moves that I saw Matisse do last year and still this year, obviously, that I'm seeing other players do more frequently now. And it's working. Like,
it makes sense. It makes complete sense. I mean, Matisse is an unbelievable wingspan, but guys like Danny Green, they can time it.
Matisse is 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan, which is ridiculous to think about.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, and you can tell when guys are like, where the hell did that block come from? Like, I thought I had Matisse Thybulle cleared. Like, here comes arm out of nowhere. So, I mean, Danny Green's been great. I thought with Seth Curry, they were using him a lot to draw attention and free up Ben Simmons coming downhill. So they would like run Seth Curry, guys just fly towards him, and then Ben Simmons would get the ball and just kind of tag the rim and dunk it. So that was a way to get Ben Simmons going as well. So Seth Curry, on the score sheet, fine. Also using him off the ball helped out to unlock some offense for the Sixers. So yeah, good game from them. They're playing really well. That's the kind of things you want from these two guys, man. It's good time playing well right now.
When those two players play well, it opens up the court exponentially for your stars like Ben and Joel and Toby. And so it's just you love to see that. And I'm excited to see what George Hill does when he comes back. So let's get into our final thoughts on this game. What are your biggest takeaways?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is you played a bad team.
Biggest takeaway: you played the team with the worst record in the league. Biggest takeaway:
played a horrific team. And the Sixers have played horrific teams at home before this year have not fared well, right? So team that comes to mind, Cleveland Cavaliers. So you played another bad team. You took on a big challenge from Karl-Anthony Towns. Anthony Edwards, another great player that they have. They have another young kid, Jaden McDaniels, a really good player. So they have some pieces to work with. And if you come in lazy and not willing to play, you're gonna get a punch in the face. So I think that this is a good start here with Joel coming back. And we talk about playing Boston next week. We're talking about playing Brooklyn in about a week or so from now.
I'm excited.
Man, these are the games that you want to be up playing at your best because we're getting close here to May. And once we hit May, it's when the fun really starts. So health is important. And finding some offensive cohesion, because I think we know what this team is defensively. This team defensively is a load. You can arguably say the best defensive team in the NBA. But offensively, they need to get back to that offensive cohesion that they've had for parts of the year. So whatever that looks like, we'll see. But, man, if they can just ratchet that offensive level just a little bit up with this defense, this team can take on anybody in the East. So, yeah.
I definitely agree. The offense, I think will come even more. Even Doc Rivers said the other day that they don't have a lot of practices, so it's kind of hard to implement more into the offensive playbook. It's hard to, and I know you talked about that with Austin a little bit. So it's tough to put more offense in the playbook and work on that cohesion when you're just going game to game to game because of the shortened schedule. But I agree with you. If that offense can just go up a level and Embiid can get back in the lineup and get back into that cohesion, this team is just – they're just tough to beat. They really are. It's a tough team to beat. And
it's so important that, sorry, Justin, because I think it's important because we talk about, who are the teams in the East, right? Brooklyn. They're kind of a little separate world with their offensive juggernaut. Right.
The 140 a game is pretty much right there.
Let's put them on the side for a second. The other team that the Sixers have to worry about is the Milwaukee Bucks, right? We can agree with that. You watch Milwaukee Bucks on the defense this year, they're a mess. They're trying out this switching system. They haven't gotten it right all year. They continue to give up 120, 130 points a night. So
I will say that their ISO defense works. Their specific one-on-one defense is pretty good because they do have good one-on-one defenders. They just have different pieces that have been brought in the past 2 years. So it's we saw Drew Holiday was locking up Toby the other game.
So the question is what are they going to be in the playoffs? You have to have some character going into the postseason. If they think that they can play this type of switchable offense against the Sixers, they're going to get caught.
You mean defense?
Yeah. And because the Sixers, they know who they are on defense. They know who they are. They stick to what they are. And they are tough, man. They are absolutely tough. So I give the Sixers an advantage today over Milwaukee for that reason. The Sixers are going to beat you and they're going to beat you on defense. So.
And listen, we hope that. But tonight, they beat up on them. And I wouldn't say beat up. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a close game up until the end, realistically. Yeah. But Joel Embiid's back. My biggest takeaway is Joel Embiid coming back for this team. That, to me, is the most exciting thing. When he went down, my first thought was, oh, my God, this season's over. It's Carson Wentz all over again. I'm so upset. That was literally my first thought. And, obviously, I didn't overdo it. I didn't like post on Twitter like, "Oh, season's over." Da 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 da. Like no, because I wanted to see what came back first to evaluate the injury, and see what happens. Luckily, really best case scenario, realistically, the injury wasn't that bad. We get him back. The season is still on, and we still have a very good chance on making it to the championship. Overall, my grade tonight, I'm going to give it an A++, just because my man Joel Embiid is back tonight. Just because Joel's back, had 3 blocks in his while he came back, 24 points. I'm giving it an A+, just because of that, and the W. What's your grade, Tiago?
I'm not going A+, man. Come on. Carl-Anthony Towns almost went for 50.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'll give
Ben Butler gave it an A.
Of course, Ben always gives it an A. They could lose by 30 to the Clippers. He still gives them an A.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so what's your grade, Tiago? Tell me.
I'll give him a B+. It was a good game, man. I think you got to play a good team.
We got a Debbie Downer over here. We got a Debbie Downer. His name's Tiago. If you want to find Tiago, the Debbie Downer, go follow him at tscabia, where he also posts some great articles on thepaintedlines.com. So definitely go check them out, man. Great basketball mind. Go follow him on Twitter too. Even better on there because you see it right there. Live updates during Sixers games, and even during the week you get percentages, all that shit. You see everything.
You get the story within the story. So it's not just, hot takes. Yeah. Definitely.
You can go follow me on Twitter at J_Persichetti. I'd really appreciate it. I think I'm almost at I'm at like 450 followers. I'm like one away. I think I'm one away. So if you want, guys, go follow me on there. Get me to 450. Trying to get to 500. We'll see what happens. Maybe someday.
You get there, man. Covering the blue coats like that.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying. But listen, overall, Sixers win this game tonight, 122-113 over Carl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves. Joel Embiid is back, baby, and we will see you on the flippity flip side. Peace out from me and Tiago, everybody. Have a good night, and Ben Butler, we appreciate you. Make sure you like the video. Peace.